I saw a Reddit post that was like what's the guy who wrote Game of Thrones? George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
George R. R. Martin, he was like, he apparently begged HBO to make 10 seasons of Game of Thrones instead of the
eight.
Yeah.
we forgot.
Apparently begged them. And I opened this thread. I half expected, what do you think the comments were going to be when he went to that thread? What would you think people would reply?
Of what begging for 10 seasons.
Yeah, he apparently asked
he would agree with them. They would agree.
They're like, yeah, go George. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no, not at all. They were like, well, if he wasn't such a lazy piece of shit and finished his books, maybe we would, they'd have something to work off of. Apparently,
people suck.
Well, I don't know, because in some ways, apparently I can't remember what exactly, but apparently he was helping writing some episodes initially, and then later on afterwards he wasn't helping write any of the episodes.
Well, isn't that the reason why like the later seasons sucked so much? Was that because he kind of
maybe
that was the theory, right?
That was
I don't know. I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
We'll never know.
And there was a lot of comments, and there's one or two that I kind of half agreed with, where I was like, okay, it's like, all right, if you're not going to do the job, right?
Yeah.
And you are the most qualified person for the job, right? And they're doing it with or without you.
Yeah.
And you decide, no, I'm not doing it. And then it becomes shit.
Yeah.
Can you then turn around and be like, oh, it's shit. They should have just given it more time? Because the argument was like, if the job's going to get done, you're not going to do it, then it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of his fault. People were saying is that because he should have.
It's not his fault. I mean, it's
not entirely his fault.
I understand a little bit where they were coming from.
I'm sure there's like a certain degree of responsibility, but to say that it's all his fault because he's like the main guy is a little harsh, I think.
A lot of people were being very critical of him in a sense that I thought was a bit unfair.
Yeah.
But
Game of Thrones
I
fans being critical? No.
Well, I think as Game of Thrones fans have gone through all the 5 stages of grief with the books.
Yeah.
They've gotten to acceptance now.
Yeah.
They've accepted that it's never going to finish and it's never coming out.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm pretty sure it's
Hunter fans like first time.
I'm pretty sure it's like never coming out.
Yeah.
Like as an anime fan, I'm like a hardened veteran. I'm like, this series isn't finished. Cool. Give me the next isekai. Give me the next finished isekai.
It's just like the one time where I opened a Reddit thread and I was genuinely 100% incorrect on what I thought the replies were going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Reddit is normally a really simple, the first thought that comes to your head, circle jerk.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, go for the low-hanging fruit, get your karma.
Yeah.
Everyone upvotes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. I was quite surprised.
But I also find with Reddit, it also depends very much on the board you're on. Because depending on the board you're on, you can get like very, very different replies because it's all like a circle jerk, but it's a circle jerk of people who think alike, and not everyone on the same board thinks alike, because anyone who doesn't just gets shunned.
Yeah.
And so you go on some Reddit threads or some Reddit, some Reddit forums, and you see like this thread, and you're like, I can't be the only one who thinks this way. And then you go on the Reddit thread, and everyone seemingly in the Reddit thread thinks the exact opposite of you. And you're like, am I the crazy one? Am I the fucking crazy one? And then you see like the same thing being discussed on fucking YouTube or Twitter or something, and it's a completely opposite opinion.
Yeah.
So I think it very much does depend on what board you're on and what kind of group of people you're talking to, because I can't imagine everyone would think that is George's fault.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about it, and as somebody who does creative stuff, obviously not to the same level and same expectations, but you don't. It sucks because there are probably a bunch of creators out there who are legitimately just being lazy and just like fucking chilling and not doing anything, and they're like, whatever, and making that, and I guess in some ways that raises the question of, do the fans have a right to demand the work come out if he doesn't want to make it anymore and it's halfway through? I
mean the issue is, right? The issue is that a lot of people don't really appreciate how much time it takes to make good shit.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Joe. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna bring up Arcane. Well, once again.
No, fuck yes. I thought you were going to say Fate there for a moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up Arcane once again, Joey.
Amazing.
So am I allowed to leave? Or?
No, because that series took 6 years to make, right? From what I understand, it took like 5 or 6 years to make, and it definitely feels like it took 5 or 6 years to make, because there's so much like attention to detail and like so many different aspects of the show. But like, so I can see that this took 6 years to make. At the same time, would I want to wait 6 years for a season 2? I don't think I
yeah.
would, you know. I think I would, because here's the thing. I don't know what I would rather. Would I rather wait that long for a better product, or would I rather wait less time for a decent product that I can at least consume? It's the fucking Cyberpunk.
First of all,
It's fucking Cyberpunk
The
all over again,
Cyberpunk
man.
dilemma.
First of all, Arcane, 10 out of 10. Go watch it. Weekly reminder to go watch Arcane. Number 2, fuck, I don't know. That's tough because
Would you think Cyberpunk would have done better if they waited another 2 years?
I think with a game, it's different because a game is normally one and done. Like Cyberpunk would be one and done, right? It's pretty much, it's over, right?
Is it?
Well,
Yeah.
no, because they can do updates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, as in the core of the game, there's not going to be a Cyberpunk 2. If you've played it, there's not going to be a Cyberpunk 2.
Okay.
And if there would, I don't know what they would do, but it's going to be like a one thing. Whereas like, you know, Arcane ended on a cliffhanger of sorts, right? So when you're ending on a cliffhanger, it's a different question as opposed when you're done, like it's completely wrapped, right?
Yeah.
Because that's why we can see season like reboots like 10, 15 years later. Because it's like, okay, it's this thing that's done. And then, 15 years later, you like that thing that was
Cyberpunk 2078.
right, because like it's done, right? It's done, so it's fine.
Except it actually comes out in 2078.
The year is
It probably
2077. Cyberpunk
No,
2077
it'll come out-
is finally finished.
It'll come out. It'll probably be fucking patched.
The patch is 10 petabytes.
Fucking hell. If it's a seasonal thing with multiple seasons, I don't want to wait 6 years. If it's one thing that I don't know anything about, I can wait 20 years because I don't give a shit about it. I don't know what it is. Give me the thing that's done and complete, right? Like,
Yeah.
But now that we know there's probably going to be season 2 of Arcane,
Yeah.
I don't want to wait 6 years.
I don't.
Even if it ends up being like mediocre compared to season 1.
I am fine with it going down from like a 10 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. If
Yeah,
it means
same
that we
here.
get it in 2 years.
Same here, same here.
Because there's so much potential to this story where I feel like it would be so squandered if I'm 50 and I'm still like waiting for part 4 of Arcane.
Yeah, because
You know,
I'm going through the same dilemma now with also Mushoku Tensei, because you know that from what I've heard talking to people in the industry, that took so many fucking years to make, and it definitely shows that it took that many years to make,
No,
right?
it's because of all the business meetings. It wasn't.
And that too,
that
on top of that.
That was like 70% of it,
Yeah.
probably.
The studio did say that they estimate 2023 for Arcane Season 2.
2023.
Hell yeah.
That's reasonable.
It took 6 years for them to learn how.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why they say 6 years is because they probably have those like pre-production meetings that last like God knows how many years.
Yeah.
Like when you actually start getting all the pieces moving, it's probably a little faster. Now that you have more money, more manpower, they know that it's a success. We know that it's very successful.
Yeah.
It'll and the merchandising is endless. It probably with this and the games, and I think we won't be having any shortage of Arcane.
They'll have enough resources, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure Riot's going to give them enough resources. But I think one thing that isn't appreciated is that you also need talent. You know,
Yeah, you do.
There's been enough anime projects that have money thrown at it, and it doesn't help because there's just not enough talent, or like the talented people are working on different projects, right?
Yeah.
So it's a dilemma. I don't have the right answer to this
please
question.
be a 10 out of 10 season
Yeah.
2. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I need it.
Do you think Cyberpunk 2077 should have come out when it did? Probably not. But how long would you have waited for it? Because I remember when they announced they were delaying it. Right? They delayed it.
People were like, Kings,
twice?
take your time, bro.
Yeah.
Take your time.
The
dude.
first time they delayed it, everyone was like, you know what? Take your time. You made The Witcher 3, I'll allow it. Second time, that was when people were starting to get aggy, right? That's when patience was tested. So if they delayed it a third time, did they delay it a third time? I don't think so.
I think the scope of the game was just overambitious. It
I think
just,
it was.
just too much.
Yeah.
Like in this current day, you can't make what they were trying to make to the level that they were advertising
Yeah.
within a reasonable time. Because the more you sink into it, there's only so many sales you can get on a game without DLC and battle passes and all that. And it was just going to be a game with maybe DLC, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they'd get some microtransactions in there, but like realistically, it wasn't going to be anything that would crush numbers we'd never seen before, right?
Yeah.
So like,
I guess so. I know.
it's like, how do you convince the investors to like stick around and like be happy, right? Because there's a lot of pressures, right, from outside forces.
Oh yeah, it's a business. We can't forget.
And also, is it fair to ask people to spend like 10 years of their life on the same fucking thing? In some ways, I'm like, I guess they're being paid.
Mangakas be like just 10 years.
Yeah, right. Well, mangakas are built different. Like the Japanese work ethic is just something that we just don't have in the West. It's just like those dudes are like
There's
chill.
a rookie numbers, got to pump them up.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
it
I
was
mean,
like,
in the case of the manga, because that's all they have. Right?
but
Yeah,
even
yeah.
like Araki said, right, who did JoJo, right? He said that the reason why he split it into parts of generations is like he said, I would get bored drawing the same characters for like 35 years.
Yeah.
He had the foresight to see that he would, and I don't blame him. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
get fucked. Could you imagine? You got to draw fucking Mickey Mouse like 150 times a day. You'd blow your brain out. You'd know like the exact
That's what
crotch
animators
size.
are,
Yeah.
man.
You'd know the exact gooch size
you
of
imagine-
Mickey Mouse.
Can you imagine if fucking Jonathan was still like the main character of
Oh
JoJo
my
to this
God.
day?
Yeah, imagine you didn't even like you ended up like not even liking the character you made after X.
Yeah,
amount of
yeah,
years,
exactly,
Right? Like
right?
you'd lose your mind.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You'd go crazy.
No, that I can relate to because as a YouTuber, I always like working on something new. You know, working on a new kind of content, as I'm sure you guys do as well, right? So I can't imagine, also dedicating that much time to just a single project. And I know there are people who have done that, you know, especially in like indie video games where it's just like a one-man team working on this one game for fucking years and years.